Okay, so we'll get started. Sorry about that. I last night I was working on my the project documentation. So I just woke up like at around 12:30. Yeah, okay, so I was looking at this different drivers. If you go to this page, right, in seleniumhq.org downloads page, then you will see so where you can find the plugins if you want to for example, if you want to automate or if you want to execute your script in Internet Explorer, then you need the Internet Explorer driver. So you can install either 32-bit or 64-bit depending upon your machine type. And okay, so that we will see that. And similarly there are different we have already seen with different languages also you can download the drivers, Selenium drivers. So normally we are sticking to Java right now, so we only download this. If you know C# or Ruby or Python or JavaScript, you can also just make use of these. So similarly, of course, the remote control downloaded jar file is here. So if you are using RC server, then you can use. But after the Selenium 2.5 came, both are combined. Remote RC and WebDriver, both are called Selenium 2.5 or something version. I don't know. So right now you don't require need this. This is deprecated as far as I know. So we will just stick to the WebDriver. And also if you want to drive your script in other browsers, Chrome browser, we have already downloaded this one, we have been using this. So this is like third-party drivers. That means that we have to set the property. You must download this. Firefox is not third-party, it's direct, right? So how do you use the Firefox browser in here? Where is the project pages, right? Okay. Let's go to home page. Okay, that's in setup. So setup is coming from where? Pages. Okay, that setup is coming from project.setup. So here we are simply creating a WebDriver like this. WebDriver is called new Firefox driver. That means it direct, it's not third party. Whereas if you want to run your program in Chrome driver, what you have to do? You have to set the system property and download this driver already and point this set property to the path of this file. So similarly, if you are doing it in different browsers, Opera browser, I don't know, Ghost driver, but just you can play with it. And Windows Phone, for example, there is a mobile testing in your project, and they are asking you to test this app, Windows Phone app, using automation Selenium WebDriver. So then you can download this one. And normally when you download these, what you do, you go to third project properties and go to Java build path and libraries and add external jars, and you add all of this right here. So similarly, Selenium Android phone testing, so for that you need this driver. iOS, iPhone, if you're testing automation, if you are automating the test case related to iPhone, then you need iOS driver for the Selenium. Similarly, BlackBerry, Appium, Crosswalk, Qt WebDriver. So you can just download. Apart from these, if you are using Grid, you can download this. But if you want to deal that with programmatically using the descriptive, you don't need this. And third-party language bindings. This is basically it's third-party because it's not developed by Selenium HQ. So that's hence it's called third-party. And if you are using one of these, you can go and download these also. Perl, PHP, Haskell, JavaScript, .tcl. So I know only one TCL, but we don't need right now. So if you know PHP, Perl, then you can go and download those bindings. Similarly, there are some plugins, Selenium IDE plugins, which are basically, what is the basic task of plugin? To do some job automatically, right? For example, you downloaded some plugin. We have downloaded some plugin in Firefox for the Selenium, right here. So what is our Firebug? So what this does some extra features. For example, copy XPath, copy CSS path. So even developer tools does, but this does extra thing automatically without manual intervention. So that's the main. So if you want, you can download this Selenium IDE plugin that provides new improved feature. The plugin for Selenium IDE gives you a way to make your favorite test suites execute them in single click. Okay, so these, remember that these are for record and playback only, where whatever we are doing, we don't need any of this, but just to get, it's better to know what. And Pilot X, a Selenium IDE plugin that integrates with Flex Pilot. Okay, you can just download and play with it and delete it. So that's what you can do. File logging, for example, your test case has pass or fail. If you want to log the pass or fail messages, log messages, so then you can download this and use this. So we don't need this because we can deal this program, we can write a function for it. Right? Flow control, highlight elements, implicit wait, log search bar, page, power debugger, Selenium expert, stored variable viewer, test results. The plugin Selenium IDE saves the results to execution for test suite and include test cases with a single click. It also allows you to export the test results for individual test cases. Okay, so then you can download simply. So let's see this. Please download. So just like you have added that, it will just add. So remember that these are related to the Firefox. So what you have to do is, you have to do it in the Firefox so that you can add it directly. So instead of downloading and adding manually, you can directly add it. So what we are doing, get the last test results. Add to Firefox instead of downloading it, says, right? So installs it. So you can go through this, what this particular plugin does. So these are all third party because these some users out of their own interest have developed them. SESI Selenium Lite is it's for improving productivity of maintaining, reusing. It enhances the test automation by checking the server side errors, adding powerful test commands, and validating the confirmation on leaving on unsubmitted form. So these are like automated tasks instead of manual tasks. Sequencer, Selenium IDE plugins that provide import export language support. Okay. Perl formatter. So if you are writing your program in one of these languages, it will format them automatically. So let's check if there is any Java. Selenium XML formatter, Selenium to Excel converter. So this converts your Selenium scripts to Excel format, so that's not required right now. Okay, so for Java we don't need this because the Eclipse tool will automatically format it like this in a nice manner. So this is just to give you an idea. So if you get any if you lack any driver, just go to this page. Just remember to bookmark this page. So then you can directly go and download it, or you can Google it. And if you need documentation, for example, if you get in it, these are the basic documentation uh, only with respect to the record and playback approach, not the framework that we are following. So if you get any doubt in remote control, test case consideration, Selenium grid, we can just basic reading purpose, this is useful. So also related to Java, C#, whatever. So basically programming language preferences Java select auto by default selected. So you can go to this. So just remember to bookmark this. Okay, so right now what we have done is we have the other day completed the two-level modularized script for this demo AUT example, right? So basically we have created three level I said, because there is a setup level, there is a page level, and there is a test case level. So initially before this we have just done one linear approach. This is the one. So this normally is a flat script because it's everything is put in a single Java file. So this is a linear framework. So same thing we have converted into modularized scripts with some enhancements into three steps, three packages basically: pages, setup, and test cases. Okay. Let me close all of these. So I'll go to Firefox test. What I want to do is simply I want to run this. For example, I'll show you. I want to run this in the using Internet Explorer. So instead of Firefox test, let's call it something else. Linear framework. So that way we know. So this is using demo AUT. Of course. So it should automatically update the references, whatever the wherever this particular name is used. So let's see if it is doing that. Just click next. So renaming Firefox test Java to linear framework blah blah blah, and the configuration is also changed. So right now this is fine, and it is not throwing any error, right? Okay, apart from this you can also use HTML driver. So what HTML driver does is it simply would not open any browser, so implicitly it will do everything. So let me show it to you. So what is the difference here? Instead of Firefox driver, we are creating instance of HTML unit driver. So this is one way. It will not simply open any browser, it will do everything, but just by looking at the logs you can know what is going on in the background. Okay, that's it. So it just recorded. So here the thing is, it did not open any browser, but internally it ran. However, the execution is done successfully. So that is the in our automation program, the project your lead wants to see what's going on the browser. So this may not be useful in the real-time project. So here we are using Firefox driver, Chrome driver. So let us try to use Internet Explorer driver for this. So for that I have already downloaded Internet Explorer driver. So this one, IE driver server 64-bit 2.44.0. So all I have to do is just instead of providing this path, I will go to my root folder here, and go to drivers and place it in the drivers so that I can easily set the path, IE drivers or .server, right? So I will go back. So here I am using Chrome driver, right? So I'll just copy this, paste it here, comment out. So WebDriver dot Chrome driver. So it should be Chrome driver, or let me see. you are not sure, let me just type it. Set property for IE driver. So it's a webdriver.ie.driver. So that's what I thought. So file.get absolute path. Instead of this, we can provide the correct path, exactly what it is. So then WebDriver driver is called new Internet Explorer driver. So instead of doing this, I'll just copy this. So basically here I'm using the file class. So to use this file class, you can import the file class package. So here we are doing little bit differently, don't worry, it is the same thing. So we are creating a file class instance and providing the full path of this IE Explorer driver. So my path is this one. See, Selenium drivers. So the advantage of this here is you don't have to put double slashes here to escape it. So you can provide exactly the path, complete path. And what is the file name? IE driver server. So let's give the same name. .exe with extension. So WebDriver instead of WebDriver web.chrome.driver, just replace Chrome by IE. That would suffice. And file get absolute path will get this one. So instead of passing this one directly, we're passing this and getting the absolute path of this file. So then WebDriver driver is called new Internet Explorer driver instead of Chrome driver. That is the difference. So I'll delete this and keep that. Okay, so my mistake again. You have to provide escape these because that's mandatory. So for using Internet Explorer driver, you should have imported Internet Explorer driver package. So let's try this. So because of the security settings in the Internet Explorer, internet settings are turned off by default. So if you want to turn on, turn on. So this is for the security purpose. Internet settings are less secure level than internet, uses less secure level. So that means it's more vulnerable to the viruses and other malware. So that's, you should not turn on internet settings, or you should. So since I trust this page, I can say yes. So it's apparently opened the local host. This is the initial startup page for the WebDriver setup. So let's see. Even this is the first time I am running the Internet Explorer. IE driver server.exe. So this is the driver, and we need to continue with this. it's not opening the page, and instead it is just opening the initial page for WebDriver server. So let us see what is saying. Okay, you will need to start the server using this one. If you are using remote driver, things are different. Okay, we are not using remote driver. That's WebDriver. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the alternative is to driver IE.navigate to. We can use this one also. But it should have worked. Let's see. Driver.navigate. So that should be your simply driver navigate to. Okay, let's try this. Okay, it's opening manually. Let's see. So creating a new instance of Internet Explorer driver, but it's not opening the page. Session not found exception. So we have all the packages imported. Okay, these are not used, that's okay. I'm guessing it should be something related to Internet Explorer version. I have 11 version. Which version of Internet Explorer do you have, Prachi?
Today on my machine we won't be able to do because my husband is using my machine on
Okay.
which we installed everything, right?
Right.
I'm
That's
using
okay.
his.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is related to maybe version because it's just simply opening the local host and stopping. So you can play around with this one later, right? So what we will do is we can directly switch to our data. So this is just to give an idea so that this can be run in Internet Explorer, Firefox and Chrome and other. If you are also using the mobile testing, then you can add those drivers related to iOS, Android and other. So okay, so just play around with those instead of taking the sessions on them because we don't use unless it is a the requirement specifically related to the mobile testing. We don't use them, even I don't get to use them. But if you just play around with them, you can get to know. It's not a big deal. So let us go to our this program. Okay, in the home page we are actually logging in, right? So what we will do is we'll simply go to login page and we will create another login, right? And we will do the same thing twice with first login and second login. That is the first level. Inside we will do another set of like entering different values for flight and number of passengers, all those things. We will do the different parameterizations later. So first of all we start with entering different logins. So for that what we need to do, we need to first register, right? So far we haven't registered, we haven't created the automation script for registration, right? We have already registered this, correct?
Yeah, we manually registered.
Right,
Yes.
right. So I want to create a function for registration also, in case if we want to run the same script on 3 persons, instead of registering manually, we can just run that script. So that's like more sounds like automation rather than keeping the registration manually and everything. So what I'll do is the registration page I will simply create in here in the pages package. Alright. So let's call it, the naming convention is not good. We will also talk about the naming convention later. So it should not be very flat. So here let's call it, for example, this is how it looks like: demo AUT dot registration. So this explains everything. Okay, so the project name is demo AUT and you are creating registration. And how do you know this belongs to pages? So without even looking at the package it belongs to, you should be just able to tell just by looking at its name. Okay, so this is belonging to the demo AUT project dot pages and the registration is the actual page. So project name dot package name dot file name or the actual page name. So that's better. So type name must be qualified. So what does it mean? Because it should be a type name must not be qualified. Okay, that should be okay. Maybe we cannot use dots in here. Okay, so class name. Alright, that's okay. My mistake. So in the inside the Java file name cannot contain any special characters, so that's okay. So instead we will keep it to registration, and the naming convention we will keep it to the package. So project is demo AUT dot pages. So that's how it's better. So I'll change that accordingly. And the class name must start with the capital letter. So finish. Okay, so here this should be specific to the project. So instead of project we will call it demo AUT, and it should be always small letters. So in here you can use special characters, only limited allowed special characters, not everything. So dot is allowed special character. So when I OK it should update everything else wherever it was used, so we don't get any confusion. So demo AUT dot pages, that sounds like okay, so I'm going to run it in the demo AUT project. So that sounds very specific rather than general like example. So okay, let's call this refactor. So here example is related to Google. Google is a project, let's say. So I will call this Google dot example. So example has all the related HTML driver, Chrome driver, Firefox driver, Internet Explorer driver, everything. So and here whatever the conflicts are occurring, automatically it's showing. So just make sure that the errors are not there. These are warnings. That's fine. Continue. Okay, now that's fine. And this basically is another example from Google. So I basically went to Google source code and the Google code pages and downloaded it. So instead of putting it here, you can put it here. However, I kept it because the naming convention should be like this. So here org is the topmost root, you can say. Dot openqa is your project, let's say openqa. Dot selenium is your sub project, and example is your specific the script related. So this is more like what I was looking for. So instead, okay, I'll keep it this way, but I want to delete this. So if you want to move this from here to here, okay. Hello.
Yeah, it got connected.
Okay. When it was disconnected? Hello.
Renaming class project demount dot pages.
Oh, why two persons?
Hello.
Hello. There are two persons, right? From
Hello.
I think. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Prachi. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. When you were renaming that package, it
Oh,
disconnected.
okay. So okay, that's okay. You didn't miss anything. So basically, I was
Yeah.
just showing you how to manipulate between the renaming and formatting and everything. Okay, let us continue. So why I was doing is because you leave it this time, right, after 2 minutes. So instead of starting it right now and
No, no.
continue.
We can continue.
Oh, so you're not going to
My
pick up your son?
my husband is there today. He'll go.
Oh, okay. So that's why it's just time passing the time, so that you can go, and when you come back, we
Okay.
can actually start. Okay, you should have told me then. Okay, anyway, we'll continue. So, for example, if you want to move one Java file from one
Hello.
page to another, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why this is happening today?
I have no idea why it's happening.
Okay.
So when you can't hear me, just let me know. Chart
Okay.
here itself, because it takes time to like if you go to your mobile phone and text me, it takes time. Again, I have to check my mobile phone. So directly you can type here. I may not look at this chart, but that's okay. Okay. So anyway, this is not very important, but it's nice to know. Okay. So I want to move this from here to here. Just drag and drop. So it says update references to Google suggested Java request. So click OK. So automatically it moved from this to this. So normally you might be needing this in your real-time project. So I can delete this. So we are just making the structure look good. So google.example has all these examples. That's good. Project.setup. So instead of project.setup, what I'll do is I'll simply refactor it. So what I'm doing is I'm just simply replacing the project with the actual project name. Okay, so all the packages are at the same level. So that's what I hear. Project.test case. Test cases. So let's see Google example. Okay, that's we have already done. What is a test? Test is the initial one. We started with the test, right? Simple tests and everything. so we don't need to use this specifically. So however, just to keep it give it a nice name, so let me call it training.test. Okay, so everything looks good. So what we are going to do is, I'm going to demo at.pages. Okay, open. I find all these pages, set up this page, and test case this page. So the pages, the test case will call pages. Pages will call setup. Even though it's not in the same hierarchy, that's fine, because of it. Eclipse automatically sorts it by the name. So demo it.pqrst. So that's fine. So what we will do is, we will create a function for registration. That's what we were trying to do, right? So here already created, yeah, so it's already created. We just define it now. Okay, so what do we start with? Let me close all of this. So what I have to do here?
We need to call setup, right?
Yeah, we need to call setup. So where we can call setup, inside the function or outside it?
In main.
Oh, no, main is not required. We have to create a function, right? Main is only required in the test cases, because that's where we call all these functions pages. So main is not required here. So what? So this is how you create another function. Inside that function, you call this setup and call this driver, so that you can use driver. So if you do it outside this, but inside the class, it won't recognize. So simply public void. You can say register here, doesn't matter. So let me call setup as okay. So setup is not recognized, so hover over it and you need to import this setup demo.utc. It will simply import this demo.setup.setup. So now it is recognized. Yeah, and using S you can just get driver. Okay, we have to assign to WebDriver. We need a WebDriver, right? Driver. So the s.getDriver returns a driver type, so that we were assigning to our WebDriver. And to use WebDriver, again same thing. You need to import this package from Selenium, not local. This is from org.openqa.selenium. So that's the complete path. So now using driver, you can do whatever you want, right? Driver dot get driver. Let's go and see. Okay, it's driver dot get. Looks like I forgot. So what I'll do is, okay, I don't want to copy, so because every time you copy, you tend to, I mean, if you don't copy, you can practice a little bit at least. Get, okay, so initially what we have to get, the home page. So let me go to demo.at.com, and after this we need to change the login page, this thing also. So initially it is this page you are actually, so this is the first page you are coming to, unless you are not registering. So let's come to this page. Okay, so once you get the driver, it will launch this. Then what you have to do, you have to click on this register. So last time I remember we got some error in here, I guess. Let's see. Okay, so we couldn't find the ID last time. So remember, so all you have to do is you simply use the XPath. In this case, same thing as the table. In the tables we don't find any ID or anything like that. Since it's a table, you see, table row, table data. So obviously the recommended way of using is XPath. So I'll simply use driver dot find element by dot XPath. Okay, B should be capital. So simply paste this whole XPath expression. So finally, what we will call, or what we will do, we will simply click on it, right? Okay. Okay, so okay, let us continue. Once everything is done, we will run it. Okay, now you go to this page. So before going to this it takes some time to launch this page, right? It takes time. So one way, how do you deal with the synchronization here? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, it again got
Okay, I think two persons are connected to my system. Here you see on the right side. From your team viewer, two instances are running here. That's maybe the reason.
but I have only opened one instance.
Right, yeah. So can you do, like, can you disconnect again, connect again? So maybe that's the reason why your
Okay.
voice is getting disconnected, you know. I don't know. It's all of a sudden getting disconnected when I say hi. Nobody's responding. Disconnect this one also and connect it freshly. Okay, so let me do one thing. It's not disconnected. Let me disconnect myself. Yeah, hello Prachi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue. So what I was asking you, it was normally when you click on this one, right? So it leads to the next page, but it takes some time in between to launch this page. So programmatically, how do you deal with here? That's what I was asking.
Okay. So we need to put that timeout, right?
How do you put the timeout?
I forgot that command.
Okay, okay. You mean to say this
Sleep
thread
timer.
dot sleep,
Thread
right?
dot sleep. Sleeper. Yeah.
Yeah. So thread dot sleep is one way. So how many seconds this will wait?
10.
10 seconds. So this needs a package. You need to add throws declaration basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one way. The disadvantage of this one is, even though this page is displayed within 1 second, it will still wait for 10 seconds. That means you are wasting 9 seconds. And imagine this, you are doing this for repeatedly for between every line or every like in 20 times in your single script registration. That will lead to how many times? 9 into 10, 90 seconds waste, 1 minute waste, right? So instead, so what is this particular thing called? This particular thing is called static synchronization. Static, that means you are forcing it to wait till 10 seconds no matter what. That means even though the page is faster, sometimes it may be faster, sometimes it may be slower, still you are forcing the web driver to wait for 10 seconds. And imagine if you do this like 20 times in your single script, that will wait lot of time unnecessarily. Because so this particular thing is called static wait. We will learn about the dynamic wait, dynamic synchronization, instead of using this right now. So I'll just simply go here, make a note of it, synchronizations. So first type is static So how do you achieve that? By using thread.slip. Second one is dynamic. There are many, not just these two. So one way is to write your own program. Write your own program, that means wrap the whole thing in the test cases in a run timeout function. So that we will see later. That is a little more advanced. So for the time being, we will see another method which is better than this one. So which is more or like dynamic in nature. So let's see that. Okay, so here driver dot wait dot until the title appears. Okay, so let's use this. It's also little it's a little static too, but it's more or less until this web title appears. So title appears where? Here. So that title would be register dot colon Mercury Towers. So until this title appears, it will wait, and once it appears, it will move on. So however, this is not completely completely dynamic. It's partially dynamic, partially static, you can say. So what is the page name here? So if you want to capture the page name, this doesn't contain page name, view page source. Okay, so the page source name, page, if you go to page source, you can copy the title. Instead of typing it, I'm just doing copy here. So simply what I would do is, I'll replace this page title to this. I think it's double quotes. Let's see, driver dot wait. Driver dot wait. So if we just give number of seconds. Okay, so I think there's some syntax. It's not syntax error. It should work. Okay, anyway, we'll use this later. So we'll, for the timing, we'll just use the driver dot wait. It's static again. It's not dynamic. Okay, so without going further into those details, we'll directly go to this and register first name. So same way we have done earlier, right? We will do this. So since input, name, everything is given here, we can directly go and use a send case. Dot send case. So okay, so this time we will register with a different person. Let's call let's call user A. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. It's getting disconnected.
Yeah, I know.
I don't
Again,
know why it's happening.
one more.
Internet keeps happening.
Right. Yeah, one more instance came here. So see, 1, 2. So meanwhile, it is getting disconnected. Probably you are connecting again, right? So let me see if I can disconnect this. Close connection. Can I close connection? The other one. You are still there, right? Hello.
Hello.
Okay. I think this is the one.
Hello.
Yeah, 1 second. Hello. 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 Let me close this. Connect again. I think that's the problem. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So what's happening is when you connect it again, when you don't hear my voice, again it's another instance of connection is coming. So that's causing conflict. So let
So
me know.
how do we stop that?
I don't know. I never heard that. So you, as soon as you don't hear my voice, just let me know. You can text me or you can just put some chat over here
Okay.
so that I know exactly, because I just keep talking. Otherwise, keep your microphone unmuted, Prachi. So that way I know you are there. Otherwise, I'll just continue to.
Yeah, it's
I'll.
unmuted only.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so keep talking when you get like say okay, something like that. So otherwise,
Okay.
I'll be under the impression that you are still connected I'll go on talking. So here I'm trying to use different users. I'm trying to come up with a naming convention for user. So for example, if you are trying to run the same script 5 times, I can use different usernames like user A, user B, user C. So that sounds like a more of conventional naming. So dot send keys user A. So that's for the first one, first name. Okay, so instead of user, let's call it first, because it's a first name. Okay, so next I want to use the last name. Okay, so this time I want to use CSS path. How do I use it? I'm trying to use different because we are learning find element by dot. Instead of name, I want to use CSS selector, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now how do I enter CSS selector path here? I want to use the same send keys only, but so this would be last. Alright. So here I want to enter CSS selector path, not this. So when I point it to last name, I can easily use name, but I don't want to. So how would I create a in a CSS selector path? So if I directly copy this CSS path, it will be something like this, right? So it is more or less like using the table name and blah blah blah. So here the problem is it has spaces and you have to remove spaces by using dot. Even then it will not work because it's not unique. I can easily tell because it's not simply unique even though there is table. So the other way is to we already have CSS selector expression syntax. So let's use the syntax. What is the syntax? This one, right?
Yeah.
So in which we exactly know what is what. So CSS selector and the bracket, so everything goes here. So here this is the class, this is the property name, this is the property value. So simply we replace it. It's not a syntax in per se, it's another example. Basically we are using another example to use into our code. Okay, simply to take a look at this, input is input and this is a name. So instead of directly using the name, I am trying to use a CSS selector. So that you can ask, why do you want to use CSS selector instead of? Because of the fact that CSS selector is fast in nature, fast in terms of execution. So that is the reason. Comparing to XPath, it's faster. So simply replace this name here and put this value of this name here. And I think there is an extra. Okay, so that's okay. So there is no drastic difference between this and two. You can use either one. So similarly, go to phone number. Okay, so here I want to use XPath. How would I use this? One way is to, normally if you don't find any property name and class name over here, you can right click and copy the XPath. That's one way, like this, right? But here it's not required. We have already done this here. So however, it's not required. We can use the syntax. So how do we use the syntax? We can simply use the XPath syntax here, right? So I'm just trying to explain everything possible so that in case you need to use XPath, you must use XPath, then you should be able to use XPath in an effective way. So by XPath till here I'll copy so that I don't miss anything, right? So find element till here goes this. Okay, same thing. Span is a class name, text is a property name, link title is a property value. So basically this we were trying to parameterize, that's why we put a general name. So here we will use phone number for this, right? So same thing, input, name and phone. So I'll just copy this phone here. I'll just put a hard-coded value. We are going to parameterize this later. So right for the time being, just put this, and here it's name, and here as usual it's a input. Remember, the XPath always starts with a double slash. So that has some exceptions. If you are starting with the class name, it should precede with the double slash. Okay, here. So since this works as the what you call it as the variable, so we are trying to pass this variable in some way. So how do you do if you want to just enter the static phone number, static thing, you can just put like this. So basically the link title, so link title, if you don't want to use the exact link title and if you want to pass this link title later in the while calling that function, you can use general name. But let's see here, input name is equal to phone. I think something is wrong with this phone call. Okay, so instead of using this, hello. Hello. hello.
Yeah, it gets disconnected, and then again, if I try to connect, it takes time.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Why it's happening today?
And it keeps on like saying that connecting, and then it takes time to connect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I was asking you to keep it unmuted. Just speak something. So when I say something, just ask some question or okay, say okay, that's okay, it's fine. So say something
Yeah,
like that.
you
So
know
I
what
know.
it is? Disconnecting. It's disconnecting only.
Oh really? Okay. So in that maybe there is some
The
server.
session only goes.
Right, right. Yeah, understood. So
Yeah.
maybe it's disconnected from team. Your is has. We can use Skype also if you want, but later. So let's see if it happens again. We
Okay.
can use Skype. Skype is
Okay.
normally Skype doesn't
Okay.
behave that way, right? So okay. So I was trying to use XPath for this one, but I was doubtful about this one. It wouldn't work maybe because phone only if you want to use this as a one of the parameters like this here, where here link title, which is a parameter, so it won't work because I am doubtful about the syntax itself. So let us use our conventional way or CSS. Let me copy this. So as usual I will use name phone, that is the only difference here. So let me use phone number like 111 111 1111. So next time we will use 222 so that we can keep test data intact, and email ID same thing. These are not mandatory, but I am trying to fill as many fields as possible just to get you some practicing. So if you want to take over here and do this, I will let you do. So here input ID
Yeah,
username.
but why you didn't use XPath?
Okay, so the XPath I told you the reason. We can use the XPath
Array.
two ways. One is this way. Simply copy the XPath expression, paste it over here. Or if you want to use the syntax
Okay.
is here. XPath / class name, property name, and property value. Here property value is not the actual property value, but it's a variable where you are passing this from somewhere else. See, it's not within the quotes, right? It's just a plus variable name. So for example, I want to use the exact path, exact variable property in value. So then I was doing this one. So instead of this I was doing this. Then the problem is here I am suspecting some syntax error. So this is not the correct syntax error. Here you are already escaping a backslash, right? So let me correct it. If I am not wrong, it should be something like this. You are using the quotes, and since you are using quote, you have to escape it. Then here again you are using a quote, then you are using a backslash. This looks like more of correct way. So if you want to use, go ahead, you can use it. If it fails, then we can come back and use CSS. So let's use this one, don't worry. I think this is the correct one, so let's do it. Alright, so driver
Hello.
dot find. Hello, you are understanding, right, what I'm saying here?
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Prachi, hold on. I'll call
Hello.
you so we can use the phone for voice. Yeah, Prachi, you can see the screen, right? But you can't hear in between. So we will use the phone for the voice. So I'll mute the microphone here. Okay. Okay. Right now it's microphone muted. So next time if it is disconnected altogether, we will use Skype. So the Skype is better. So what I was trying to say is, here I just corrected the syntax XPath. There are two ways of using XPath, right? One is directly copy paste the XPath expression and paste it like this. One is to use the syntax. So here I use the class name, property name, and property value is phone, directly phone here. Which one? This one. So directly phone here. Okay, so it is selected right here. Okay, so here try to understand this thing. If you understand this, you can easily understand the other also, CSS. So span, always use the double slash to precede the class name in the XPath. That's the rule. Then use the bracket, square bracket, followed by the property name, and parenthesis equals. Property value must be a string, so I must put it in the double quote. But double quote cannot be used, so I have to escape it. So simply precede it by escape character. Same thing here. Now this whole thing is done till here, right? Now the span is closed till here, and the XPath expression is till here. Just come from backward. Then whole by.xpath closes here. So now it looks okay. So let us try. If it doesn't work, we can use this one. So just for the backup, I will use this one. It's okay, right?
Yeah, but in this syntax, we need to use span only, right? Span word.
Oh no, my mistake. Okay,
Using span.
right.
We will be using span.
No, I forgot. Okay, glad you reminded me. This is the input. I copied it from here, so I was just I did not change it. So the class name is input, so you have to use input, right? You're right. So, and is it a text? It's a name, so you have to obviously change this also. Name. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's continue to do it for this one, email. So same thing, input, use an ID. We can use ID this time because name and ID both are there, so I would go for ID. So instead of using XPath, I'll just use our this CSS selector, because CSS selector is most effective way, like I told you, because it's faster in nature. So I would prefer CSS selector to XPath. So what all you have to do is put the class name, put the property name, ID, yeah, and put. Okay, so is it a username? Yes, since I was pointing at email, right? Okay, anyway, that's a developer mistake, you can say, but here what we are dealing with the correct one, email and username. So whatever it shows, we can copy. We don't have choice, right? So just use it here. So here goes email. So let's use a@a.com. So for the next time, I'll use b@b.com. So that maintain the consistency for the naming. And go to address. So however, I didn't need to fill all these, but if I fill, probably they will auto populate in the purchase page. Probably, I'm not sure. So that's why. That is one reason. So let me go to address. And this will also give a good practice for covering most of the pages. Not for me. So if you want to take over here, you can do, Prachi. I will give you the control. Can you do for this?
Or address?
Yeah, address till submit. So that will practice instead of just listening, which is which is okay. But I will give you the control so that you can also. So can you go ahead and take control? can copy paste the whole thing from here. Yeah, you can reuse the same thing. CS, yeah, you can copy that line and paste it. I think it's difficult for you, right, to control remotely?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, don't worry. I'll take control. You tell me what to do. I'll ask you the questions and you can tell me. So instead of operating from remotely, I know how it's very difficult. Okay, so
Input name, just put name input.
so this is the input, right? And name we are using. So name goes here, right? And what is the value? Address 1. So directly I can copy instead of pasting it in notepad. Okay, so simply send keys address 1. So I can say, just for the naming convention, I will use 1 main street, okay. So next time 2 main street, blah blah blah. Okay, so the address 1 line 1 is okay. This is optional, so let's leave it and get directly come to city. So input name city. So simply I'll copy this. So find element by CSS secret input name. So this city. So this time this will be city. We can use like New York. Then state. Same thing. So I copy this. State New York. Postal code. Postal. Do you know the New York City postal code? Okay, let's use Edison then. I don't know. Edison. Let's use New Jersey. Okay, then 08 20. I don't think it will check, but just in case. Okay, then we are dealing with a drop down, right? So what is the thing for drop down? Select. Let's use it without looking back. So name and its values will be displayed over here. So the value Albania. Okay, so country. So here what we need to do? We need to use select cell is equal to new select. Yeah, so select needs to be imported. So go for the this support.ui instead of all these. Even though it suggests, you can just ignore them. Okay, so we need to, this takes a web element. So basically, so the web element will first needs to be created. That's let's call web driver. So however we could have done it other way. So normally you need to do this one, web driver, web element el is equal to, then you do all this driver, then el dot send keys. So basically the method belongs to a web element, right? So the whole thing returns a web element. So here we must do that same thing, web element el is equal to driver dot find element blah blah blah. So same thing. So I'll simply copy the whole thing in So web element needs to be imported. Since we haven't used it so far, it didn't prompt this. So simply it will be imported. Web element, WebDriver is imported, by is imported, and select is imported so far. So simply it will store the whole thing. So only we have to give exact name. Name is country. So say it's a selector input. It's not input, so it's select. So use the select. Name is equal to country. Oh, my mistake, not there. Yeah. Select is the class, so you must use select, right? And name is the property name, and this is the property value country. So we have to pass this web element into select class. So now using cell select dot, what you want to select, you can use by index, select by value, or select by visible text. So select by index works, select by value sometimes did not work because there may be invisible spaces. Select by visible text most likely will work. So let's use select by visible text instead of. So far we have selected the country. So let's check once again. If you are doubtful, you can check in purchase ticket, web element, where you pass by name. You can also do just like this, but we have used as CSS selector. So we are passing web element to the select, and using this cell we are using the one of the methods, select by index. So same thing we have done here. Alright, so now we have to go to username. So here we use ID, email. So see, that is the username. For username it put email. For email it's putting. For username it's putting email, and for email it's putting username. So that's a defect in developer code. So that's fine. It would work. Still it would. It's just name of. It's a matter of naming convention. That's fine. Email goes here. So sorry, that would be ID. Email goes here. So simply send keys. So for this person we will use username like user A. So that way we can exactly figure out later. Is it a first user or is it second user? So same thing for password. Let me check for password. Password it's name password. So I can use name. So let's use the same password as username. So to maintain the consistency and confirm the password. So in here, why it is automatically appearing? Because I have saved it. So when you are trying to enter something, it's better to clear it. So that we will do. So that's a confirm password, right? Same case, same thing. So only thing here, before setting a username, we have to country don't have to, because there is nothing to clear. You cannot clear country. The only thing you have to clear is text box. Then finally submit. Once it's done, we will move on. So it's input. You can use name. Name is register, right? Input. See, it's input. So most of the time when you are here, you just press enter. It will be submitted. See. Thank you for registering. So now for that, what you can use, simply you can use driver dot, not driver dot submit, it's a web element dot submit. So basically you are here, right? So this is how it works. You are here, last field you have operated upon is confirm password. Then you are in here. Basically you should have already allocated this, assign it to web element. Basically this nothing but it's a web element, right? So okay, so this is how it works. If you are done like this, for example, instead of this you have assigned this to web element ele is equal to so and so, right? And then ele, sorry, not element, web element. So then ele dot send keys. So send keys, you are saying user A as the password, retyping the password. Okay, so this is done. Now you just want to enter it. So without using this, you can simply say ele dot submit. See, right now it's available. So that's a web elements method, not the web drivers method. Okay, so we will use little bit differently this time. So in case there are any errors, we can use this as a backup. Okay, and keep this above instead of. Okay, so user, okay, nothing is registered because this person is already registered. It's saying that. So we will simply call this once to check if it's working or not. How can we call? No, we haven't registered this person yet, right? We have to register using the we are going to run the automation script. So here I'm going to register this person. So I have to create registrations. New registration. So this particular package must be imported before, because since you are using a different package, right? So the test you are calling it in here, but the registration belongs to different package. So before that, package needs to be imported. If you are using a linear framework, everything you are doing in the same package, you don't have to. So that's the difference. R dot. Now register. That's it. So this is without any parameterization. Still we are going with the hard coded values. So let's run this. Until here only, home page we don't, just to see if the registration is working, because here it will fail. Again, home page, once you register, the page you are getting is different, not the login page. So we have to move to that login page. Again, one more step extra. So however, we'll just try to see if the registration is working or not. Okay, so that's the problem. You got it, right? Why it's happening? No?
It went very fast actually, I think.
Okay, so it went to different URL. So I want different, it directly went to. Oh, okay, so this we have to close. Okay, so just for seeing what is the error, I'll run it anyway. So just observe. I wanted to launch the home page. The home page is okay, it's working fine. Okay, now what's going on? Just to enter all this. It will wait for 10 seconds, right? That's what it's doing. Okay. So always try to maximize before doing any operations, so that you can see clearly what's going on. Otherwise, it's as good as HTML driver. You don't say anything what's going on. Okay, so what's happening? It's showing exceptions. Illegal monitor state exception, right? Okay, let's close this. So one thing you have to be patient about is these exceptions. You expect these exceptions and try to debug them. You have to be patient. Otherwise, programming, if you're not patient, is not good. So where is the error exactly? To locate, just click on it. Driver.wait. Then 26th line it's occurring. R.register, of course. That's where it's registered. So in here it is occurring over here. So it clicked on this perfectly, waiting for just 1 second. 1 second it's waiting. Driver dot. So why it is showing error over here? Pages are registered. Okay, let's not use this. Okay, so at least it worked till last name, so it threw error about after last name. Don't close the browser. Okay, that's a phone number, right? Phone number. So let's see what we have written. Okay, so we have experimented about the phone number XPath, so that's obviously wrong, right? This is the wrong syntax. So however, we have used the backup. That's what I was expecting. So you understood, right, what went wrong?
Yeah.
The XPath, XPath, this total syntax is wrong, so do not use this syntax. So I'll try to figure it out. However, if you want to use XPath, just copy the XPath path, but you don't. It's not recommended to use here because you already have the name and everything. So use the CSS selector wherever you can. Okay, now let us try to rerun this. Okay, so before doing so, I'll just maximize the browser here. Here. You can also do here if you want to. Driver.manage.window. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so that worked fine. Okay, so it's continuously logging in also. Okay, that means there is no discontinuity over there. So after registering, you are immediately landing up in the login page. So I was thinking it will go to different page, but it didn't. That's good. So now it has to enter the same first name last name here, whatever it has registered with, right? So that's where the discontinuity is coming. So remember, here it's not. Oh, sorry, here it is doing the validation. Okay, so it will wait for some time. But we have to take care of this anyway. So registration name must match with the passenger name over here. and if you are entering two persons, traveling two persons, then you have to enter two persons name. So that we will have to manage. So here it again kind of mismatched. It entered Sangam, the other name, rather than user A. Okay, so that continuity wise it worked seamlessly till the last page without any errors, right? If you look at this console, open the driver, open the home page, and registration we haven't put any sys out, so it didn't log anything about that. That's okay. Then successfully entered number of passengers, blah blah blah. Then validation section is done, and then purchase, everything is fine. Okay, now the whole end-to-end process is said to be automated, but what is missing? Still we are missing, we have to enhance something. What we need to do right now?
For that page, validation page, whatever username we have created, it should put that to be in that page. Like user A, it should put Sangam.
Okay, that's fine too, and that we will take care of later. Okay, so also we have to
use some flat file or something.
right. So we have to either use
different users.
So basically we want to data drive this, right?
Yeah.
So one way is to directly put it in the registration here. So for example, create a string variable just the way we did it, right? String username, comma string password.
Just a minute, it got disconnected.
Oh, again?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think something is wrong with string. Okay, you are able to see now? Okay. Okay. Alright, so there are two ways. I was explaining, one way we have already done, this way we have already done. Where we have done? In, I think in the home page, not set up. In the select flight, no. In flight finder. Yeah, here. See, the flight finder, we have parameterized everything in the function. See, wherever we want to pass number of passengers, we have passed as an argument here. So the number of passengers, this one goes here. Where is it? Here. If you just select this one, it will be selected wherever it is used. So select by value number of passengers. Same thing for the departing city. So departing month, arrival city, return day, everything till here. So arrival, return day here, select by visible text. So we have just passed this as argument, and when we are running this, when we are calling this, calling the flight finder, I am passing these values over here, right? Yeah, okay. If you have to say something, otherwise I will think.
Done it for username and password also, right? In the home page.
Right. So what I was trying to say is, we are doing a parameterization at the function level, right? This is just a parameterization. We are still not data driving. So when we call this, we can pass, next time we can pass to Frankfurt and January 2015, blah blah blah. So we can basically, we have option to pass different values here. That's a advantage, right? Only when you create a function like this, more dynamic, because here registration, what's going on? Where is the registration? I can't see. Okay, in registration you have put hard coded values, right? So one way is to parameterize them like this, pass this username password. So when you do pass here, so instead of first a, what you instead of first name, what you pass, you simply pass this, the variable, not the value, actual string value. So when you call this in the test case, you have to pass this first name there. So we will see both the things. So this is little bit difficult, so if you don't understand somewhere, just let me know, I'll explain again. But we will take more examples, different projects, different websites we will see, so that I can make you understand very well. So this is important. Okay, so since we have already done this here, where in here we have already done this for this one, so I'll keep it, but I'll adopt a different approach for the register. Okay, register is throwing error because it's missing the argument type string, whereas you are not passing anything. So go to registration, and I won't pass this right now. Okay, now it's okay. So instead what I will do, I will create a test data folder. Let's call it a data or test data, and I will create an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, the problem is I don't have Excel spreadsheet. Okay, let's create an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, but still I don't have the MS Office on my system, right? That's what I see.
So we can create notepad file.
On notepad also we can see CSV file. Okay. How to do this? Okay, so why don't we create? I can create. I think I have the Open Office. Let me use. Okay, Open Document. I should be able to do it because this also supports Microsoft Office, right? Data. Let's call it. Okay, next time I'll install Microsoft Office more. I didn't think we were using this. Okay, if I'm able to save it as .xls, I should be fine. Let me see. Okay, normally ODS means Open Office Document Spreadsheet. So XLS is there, right? Yeah, good. So one way is to XLS, or you can also use CSV, but since Excel is there, I can go for it. Okay, so there are many ways. Even since I want to show you how to read Excel file and data drive using the Excel, I am going for Excel. So next time we can go for flat file, next time we can go for CSV file. That's a different example. So let's call this data.xls. Okay, when I say save it, it will save as a XLS, I guess. However, this is only for until XP 97 2000 and XP. Okay, I think it should work in 7 also, Windows 7. Let's see. Alright. So data.xls. So first row I'll use is the header. So let's use it as first name, last name, and what else we need to do? Parameterize. We can parameterize everything. So let me sign off. Go to register. So first name, last name, phone number. We will use everything. Just for the registration, we will use everything. Okay. Phone number. రాజుకు పంపించిండా? అందులో చూసుకునేమో, అందులో డాక్యుమెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా. యా దట్స్ ఓకే. నీకు మళ్ళీ బ్యాగ్ పంపిస్తారా? పంపించారా? ఓ రాజన్ నిక్ అసలు అతను వెండర్ కాదు, అతను క్లయింట్. అది అర్థమే కాదు. ఓ ఓకే. మరి నీకు ఇప్పుడు మనకు కూడా కావాలి కదా రిటర్న్ కాపీ. వాడికి పంపిస్తాడు, బట్ నీకు రాజు ఇక్కడ పంపించాను ఎందుకంటే నాకు కావాలి. నేను ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ టు మెయింటైన్ ద డాక్యుమెంట్. నా రికార్డ్స్ కావాలి. నో డోంట్ ఫర్ ఐ వాంట్ టు మెయింటైన్ మై రికార్డ్. అదే అడుగుతారు వాళ్ళు. మళ్ళీ ఇది నేను పెట్టలేదు, అందులో ఉన్నాయి కదా డాక్యుమెంట్స్. అదే పంపించిన చూడు వాడు అగ్రిమెంట్ డాక్యుమెంట్స్. స్టిల్ అందులో చూసుకో, ఈమెయిల్ ఉంటుండొచ్చు కదా. ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎ డమ్ ఇడియట్ రైట్, ఈజ్ ఎ స్మార్ట్ ఫెలో. సింపుల్. ఓకే ఎనీవే. Okay, so we will try to create columns for all these elements. Prachi, it disconnect అవుతుంది.
No, I am there.
No. My wife is saying who is on the phone, so I am saying. Okay, so city, state. So the point is use all the columns here, postal code. So normally you can avoid spaces, but I think it's okay. Let's use spaces. Confirm password, you can put, or you can use the password again, that's fine. You can reuse the password. Okay. So this is the header, and we will create two sets of data. So since we have already used the user A, right, so we won't use user A again. First, okay, let's use this naming convention instead of first class separately. User B, phone number. So state, you can enter either short form or long form, I think, right? Mail and postal. So country is United States. You don't have to select country because it's already selected by default. So however, since we are using the select statement in our code, I'll use, but just make sure that you use the exact term. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use the same first name, last name, username, so to avoid confusion, everything's same. and for the third record, second record, basically the first goes as stator. User C. Okay, so the data is entered in first sheet. This is normally considered as sheet 0, but that's okay, sheet 1. So when we actually use the function related to this method related to this, we will get sheet 0. So this will capture the data from the first sheet, so this sheet, so that this name doesn't matter. So what we are going to use the just save it. So right now we are going to come back to our program. Registration here, and we have to replace these values by the actual values that are coming from the data Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so for this reading from Excel and reading from the actual data cells, we need to import package for the for that comes from the jxl.jar. So make sure to import the jxl. Let's see, we have jxl. So I have already imported, probably. Let's see, jxl. Yeah. So Prachi, you need to import this particular jar file, jxl.jar, which will actually drive the Excel spreadsheet, Java Excel. So make a note of it. I'll write it down. Just a second, I'm getting some call. Hello?
Hi, am I speaking with Sangnam?
speaking.
Hi, this is Lauren Pritchard with Insight Global. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. So I'm reaching out because I came across your online resume and I have a performance engineer position available that I thought you'd be a great fit for. So I wanted to see if you were in the job market at all.
Actually, I got a new project recently, and so I'm
Oh,
yeah.
congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank
How
you.
long is it due to last for?
It's not even started. I'm still waiting to join the project, but I'll see
Okay.
if any of my friends are available. So if you have already forwarded the requirement to me, I will forward it to some of my friends who are actually looking for the project. So it's you
Okay,
said
great.
yeah. So you
That
said
would be
it's a
great.
performance
So
engineer.
I'll send that. I have sangam.yadagiri at
Uh-huh.
gmail. Is that the best one to reach you at?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and then just so I can update our system here, so is it going to be like a 6-month contract or long-term contract?
Yeah, it's a 6 months, but I will update you if I get any other like if it's over before 6 months or something.
Okay.
But you can forward me the requirement, so if I can
Okay.
refer my friends to the the
And
position.
are you still in Raleigh, the Raleigh area, or?
Yeah, I'm still in the Raleigh area though. So this position is in
Okay.
Raleigh area or somewhere else?
Yes, it is in the Raleigh area, and then also, so are you with? Did you accept a longer contract with IBM, or is it with another client?
It's with another client though.
Okay, who's that client?
It's it's Cognizant basically.
Oh, okay. And then, and so are you still around 68 an hour?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
So, yeah, so what's the hourly rate that you're going to be looking for?
Okay. This is a little bit more. It's 75.
Oh, it's 75, okay. And you're a performance engineer for them?
It's automation engineer. Automation is Selenium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Automation is, okay, awesome. All right, well, thank you so much, Sangam. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. I'll send over an email to you, and again, if you have any friends that are in the job market, please send them my way.
Sure. So I'll do that if I get any
Okay.
friends. Yeah.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Oh, shit. What's it? ఏమంటుంది అది అలెన్ డయానా కాదు అది నువ్వు అడిగినావా పంపించమని ఉంటే నేను నీకు అది వాడికి అడిగి వాడికి ఎందుకు అడుగుతుంది అసలు నాకు ఓకే అంటే ఎత్తలేదా ఓకే మరి టూ మచ్ ఉంది ఇది అట్లయితే నేను క్యాన్సిల్ చేసేస్తాను ఇప్పుడు మొత్తం పోతుంది అట్లా చేస్తుంది ఎవరికి నీకుకా ఏమని just send me the PO1 pet one key. Send me the PO. Send me the copy of PO to me too, so that I can follow with Raj or Ramesh and pet. I already sent, but send me a copy for my records also. ఎందుకు అట్లా ఎందుకు అసలు అంటే తక్కువ రేట్ మళ్ళీ అక్కడ రేట్ చేంజ్ చేస్తే నాకు తెలియాలి కదా మళ్ళీ అక్కడ అది వీళ్ళంతా వేస్ట్ చేసుకుంటున్నారు ఇంట్లోనే నేను మళ్ళీ ఇప్పుడు ఇదంతా తిక్క నాకు వేసింది అనుకో ఇది కూడా క్యాన్సిల్ చేసింది అనుకో మళ్ళీ వేస్ట్ అవుతుంది ఇట్లాంటి పనులు చేయొద్దని ఫస్ట్ చెప్తాను జస్ట్ రాజుగారికి పెట్టు కాదు రాజుగారికి మెయిల్ కాల్ చేయి ఇంకోసారి నాకు కాపీ పంపించు అని పంపించు. డైరెక్ట్ అట్లా డీల్ చేసుకుంటా. మరి ఇక్కడ ఉన్నది అక్కడ ఏం రాసుకుంటున్నా నాకు తెలియాలి కదా పిఓలో. ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ఐ నీడ్ 1 కాపీ టు ఫార్వర్డ్ టు సంఘం అని చెప్పు ఇప్పుడే. ఐ వాంట్ ఇట్ రైట్ నౌ. హలో హలో
Please leave your message for Prachi Brahman.
కాదు కదా, ఒక్క నిమిషం. రాజు నీ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ రాజుగారి నంబర్ ఎట్లా ఇచ్చింది ఫస్ట్ నన్ను అడుగు. అని రాజుగారి మీడియేటర్ నుంచి వెళ్ళాలి కదా. Hello? Yeah, Prach.
Yeah, Sangam, one question I have.
Yeah.
There was a call for IBM. Now what he's telling is that the position is of short term, means it's 2 to 3 months, and they want to hire on a W2 basis. They want, it's a contract position, but they want it on a W2 basis.
Okay.
So this terminology I'm not understanding. And what Steve told me from TechMatrix, that I can work on C2C basis. Now what is this? I don't know.
W2.
Yeah, he's saying on one hand that it's a contract position and the contract will only be for 2 to 3 months.
Right.
And then he's saying it is W2.
No. You are on H1, right? You don't have a green card.
I am on H1.
Okay.
Because TechMatrix has done my H1, I have to work for them for some time.
Okay, so you are on the same page, right? Like I am also on H1 with same company.
Yeah.
So obviously you cannot go for.
You would be working here from long, right?
Yeah. So your options are only C2C. You cannot go for W2, Prachi, because. No.
WT means you should be a green card holder, right? So that I think.
Not necessarily. Listen. So W2 means they want either you have to go transfer your H1 to their company so that you can work on their parole. That's a W2. See,
okay.
full time you need to be on green card or you need to be a citizen. But W2 you don't have to be. Even if you are an H1, you can still. But the thing is, you have to transfer your H1 to them. So that's obviously if you're not looking for a transfer, then you have to say to them that okay, I am not looking for W2, I am only interested in C2C, corp to corp jobs.
That's what I said. Right. Because now, as per this policy, CIS policy, at least I should have 2 to 3
Oh yeah, that's true. But you said how long you have been working for Techmetrics? Like, is it long time
No,
or?
no, I have just come to it, means I have came to US just now, in
Oh,
July this year, and my H1 has been approved in November, has been approved only in November, so now I can start working. This will be my first job in US.
oh, okay. So that means it's already approved, or is it still you just got
No,
the
no, it's
receipt?
approved. It's
Approved.
approved, and
Okay.
I'm waiting for my SSN. So
Ah, okay,
that's why
okay,
I'm
got you.
desperately looking for a job, because then there will be complications if I don't get a job.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, for long term,
yeah,
even if you got approved your H1 approved, and if you wait more than 3 months, then there is going to be some problem, because you cannot wait for long time. So you
yeah.
have to get into jobs as soon as possible. But you
Mm-hmm.
like you, I was thinking you are an H, because your husband is an H1, right? So you must have come on H4. That's what I was thinking. And you're
Yeah,
trying to
I came on H4. I came on H4 and I got it converted to H1.
Oh, in US you got it converted, huh?
No, I was working till July in India,
Mm-hmm.
and before that only I had applied for H1.
Mm-hmm.
When my this application got picked, then only I came here.
Okay, so you attend the
Exactly.
visa interview in
Yeah.
there in only India only, not here. Visa interview.
Which interview?
The H1 visa interview, like Delhi or Chennai, you might have gone to there, right? To consulate, embassy.
Visa interview in the sense, which visa? H1 visa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I didn't go through any interview for H1.
So how?
My visa is not stamped.
Okay, but
I've got my petition. I can work, right?
right,
If I
right.
have
But you
petition, I
have to
can
be
work.
okay. So that means
Yeah.
you are already in US when you filed for H1. So that way you don't have to be you don't have to have stamp your passport
Yeah.
stamp,
So,
right?
yeah. So, if I have to travel to India for some reason, then I have to get it stamped.
Right, right. That's true. So, okay. So that I understand. So you are on WH4, but you came to US on WH4. Then you converted it to H1. Then
H1, yeah, yeah.
okay, got you.
Yeah. Now I can work now, but I'm looking for job.
Hmm. Yeah, don't worry. I mean, it's when was it approved? Like how long?
November 25.
November only, right? It's not even 1 month.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You can. Oh.
But what is happening is that the job calls which I'm getting are mostly like they want strong SQL, or they want Java, C Sharp, and all that. So it's a little tension for me, because Java, C Sharp, I've never worked on that.
Java, you already know. Now you know some little Java. I will teach you the SQL if you want.
But they are asking 2 years experience. How long you have been working? 2 years, 3 years. So if I say I have 2 years experience, when I will go to an interview, they will ask me questions for 2 years, right?
Right. Oh, okay. So
Then
you
it is a problem.
that's how the interview process in US is. They will ask in each technology how long you have worked. In India, they don't ask all
Yeah.
those questions. They'll just right away they'll hire it. They just take the interview.
Yeah, but they will ask questions on that technology too, because now, like, I got a call for Barclays, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now what I've told that I have been working on job opening is for Selenium, so they're saying that you should have 2 years at least experience in Selenium.
Yeah.
Now if they schedule my interview for that, then I'll be I don't know what will happen.
No, so you can say you can put like one project with 2 year spanning over 2 year period with Selenium. So that will be sufficient. 2 years. That means that you have 2 years experience in Selenium, right? You can put more
Yeah,
also.
but then now if they start asking me that what was the application, and how you automated that payment system or banking application,
Yeah.
then
You can
I
tell
have to
something.
put stories.
Yeah, you can like figure it out. You have to tell like whatever, like you already know something. It's not that you don't know anything. So you can just say,
Yeah.
okay, this is a we use find elements, and we identified the elements first, then we build the framework. First we identified the automation candidates, whatever I told you yesterday, right? I gave like dictation, so you can tell the same thing, just practice it very well so that you can tell it confidently. If you don't tell it confidently, then they won't believe you. That's the only problem. So if you tell it confidently, they will believe you. That's it.
They are saying if they want strong SQL, so every position they want strong SQL, strong Unix, strong everything they want. So, but I still now in India I have worked. I have also worked with big banking clients, but I have never used SQL. Though they ask in interview, they never work on that.
That's okay. I can, once this Selenium is over, right, we will at least finish 70%. Right now it's let's say 60% is over in Selenium. So once we finish 80% or 90%, I will teach you the SQL also. SQL is not a big deal. There are some commands like DDL, data driven language, data definition language, data manipulation language, data retrieval language. So mainly they will be using the
basic I know. That much basic I know.
Okay.
DCL and DDL and some basic commands I know. I know joins also, but
Okay.
I don't know what they are expecting strong SQL skills. Then they ask for nested queries and all. So nested queries I haven't worked on.
That's okay. That's more than enough. I was like, if they are strong SQL, how strong they want. If they were looking for writing the very complex queries, I normally tell them like, okay, I am not comfortable with writing very complex queries, but if I can understand them, update them, but I can write my own simple queries with some joins, and I can write my own little complex queries. That's what I tell them. So if they want very strong person in SQL, they have to hire like SQL expert, not the tester. So tester don't have to have very strong knowledge in SQL. That's not required. So you can tell them like that, frankly, okay boss, I am not comfortable with very complex SQL queries. I cannot write them from the scratch, but I can understand them. If the developer gives me this query, I can understand them. I can modify it according to my, customize it according to my needs, and I can use it. That's all I need to do as a tester, in automation tester or manual tester. And I can write my own SQL queries, simple queries. So that's what you can tell.
And
Right.
Unix also?
Unix,
People are asking for Unix also. Oh my god. Everything they'll mention in the requirement. Unix also basic commands I know.
Okay, then that's what I tell them to. Same thing. I know basic commands in Unix. Okay, if you ask in the interview also, I'll tell, okay, how to how to open a folder, how to sort the folder files, ls using ls command, how to manipulate VI editor, how to all those I know. I just need to brush up. Okay, I just need to brush up within 1 hour. That's what I'll tell you. If they're satisfied, most of them will be satisfied, because you don't need to have Unix administrator knowledge. So whatever tester needs to know, I know that much. You can tell that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God somebody when I hear something from somebody like that, then it feels good, because everybody's asking strong Unix, strong SQL. What does this strong means? I don't know.
Strong is a word. It's a relative word. Strong. How strong you want? That's the question.
Okay, let's continue. Yeah.
Okay. So what I first of all, you need to download this driver. So I'm just when I send these notes to you, you just follow the steps. So I'm just making note of everything. JXL driver. So you can go to Google and type download JXL driver. So either it will show jar finder, jar driver, some site. So you can download it. Download the latest version. I think I don't know the latest version. So whatever the latest version available is, it just okay. Let me show it to you anyway.
Okay.
No, I'll just give you just idea. If you download jar files like this, okay, download java2s.com also has jar files. Let's see. But it should download not the source code. You have to have this is the latest version, right? 2.6.10. Okay, so go for 2.6.12. So you don't need the sources jar, you need 2.6.12 jar. Okay, so you download this one. So let me see what my version is. 2.6.10 I have downloaded. So 2.6.12 is also available, you can go for it. Normally sometimes if you download updated one, it's not compatible. If it is backward compatible, it's mostly compatible, but sometimes you have to downgrade instead of upgrading. So just check for, if this works, so I would recommend go for this one. So I'll just make note of version also. Okay, so basically we are looking for data driving the automation scripts. Data driving on Excel sheet with multiple iterations. Okay. So first, for doing the data driving, first of all you should have the script ready. So that script is already generated with hard-coded values. These are the hard-coded values. So all we are trying to do is we want to use the values from our Excel spreadsheet rather than the static values. So that's where the values are coming from here. So for the sample, just for seeing, just for testing it, we are first of all we are taking just the first two records, just iterating it only 2 times. So if your test data contains like thousands of records, you can put all these records here. So that will data drive your test, the 1000 records or some records, whatever records you want it to drive. And one more thing is, if you have multiple test cases, like for example registration is one thing, and then you want to also log in, that also need to be data driven. So you can use the different sheets in the same spreadsheet, or I would recommend go for the different Excel spreadsheets altogether. So you create another file and use it for the login purpose. So that way it's mostly, or some people also use test case wise. So this whole test, for whole test case 1 they will use single spreadsheet, so you can rename it as test case 1. So whichever way, this is up to entirely up to the automation tester, what, or entirely up to the automation test framework, how it is defined and everything. So we will just stick to the registration part first and we'll do it. Okay, so here before doing anything you must get the workbook, because this is a workbook, right, the registration. So before doing this you must get the workbook. So we will get the workbook here. So how do you get the workbook? There is a class called workbook. You will simply create an instance of this class. So all you need to do is make use of the existing classes, existing packages. So don't worry about the error. In order to use this workbook class, you need to import that workbook class. So we will do that later. It will already show the error. We'll just hover over it and import whatever is suggest. We'll go for it. So just create an instance of workbook. Let's use this as wbook. So workbook dot get work. I am trying to get workbook, which takes the complete path of the file. So basically I have to create a file instance. In order to use files, then you must import file file streaming, file import and export. So basically I can pass a new instance of file. That's what we have done earlier. So if you look at somewhere here, where in the setup, not in the setup, it's in the example, right? In Firefox example, yeah, here. So here, just like this, we create a new instance of file, and instead of passing the path directly, I am passing this instance. So the same, it's more or less similar to this. So new file, so where the file path exists, just copy that, or you can create another string variable file path, string variable for this path and use that, or you can use it directly. So this takes argument as a string, just paste it. So the test data contains this file, so you have to mention the complete path including the file name and its extension. So registration dot xls, that's a complete path for the file. Okay, now something is missing here, because the file, it takes the string, and string must not contain the slashes. So if you want to escape slashes, you have to use another escape, invalid escape character. See, already it's showing the same error. So basically you have to escape, so you just put another backslash, that would escape this thing. Okay, alright, so here one backslash is missing. So it's basically asking me to create a class workbook, because it doesn't know there is a workbook built-in class called workbook. Only when you import that it will know, otherwise it will not even show the correct error message. So let's import, it should have automatically suggested. So let me import manually. So first of all, since I am using the file class, right, so I must import io java.io dot file, then I will import java.util.concurrent. So normally this, if you say this, it will import all the sub packages. Star means whatever sub packages that are part of this package will be imported. So it is not recommended to do that, because if you import all the instead of doing this file, I would have said java.io.star, that would import all the sub packages in the IO package. So normally if you do that, since it's importing everything, that will slow down your execution and system, that will consume lot of memory. So instead you directly import whatever is required specifically. So let me import time unit. So only I want this particular sub package, so I only import that one. So it won't import anything else, whatever other sub packages that are part of concurrent package. So still it's showing error, workbook. Maybe it's a typo, workbook. Okay, see, right now it's showing the correct suggestion. So the workbook is W capital V small, import the workbook.jxl. So we have already added the jxl jar file to the third party libraries here. So all I need to do is import from this one whatever is added already. So this must be added already, jxl. Okay, so then go into this. So simply you need to add throws declaration. We will see the try catch later. So or you can surround the whole thing with the try catch, that is recommended. So I'll simply add throws declaration. So it's throwing in, already it's throwing interrupted exception. Now it's throwing two more exceptions, IO exception for the file and BIFF exception, I think it's a buffer something. Okay, you can read more about this BIF exception later. I think just by going to this you can read it, or just type it in the Google.
You imported that JXL, and you when we need to go to this package and import it from
Okay, that's what I was explaining,
you
right?
already mentioned.
Okay, so
Then you went to properties and then you selected it, and then what you did?
no, I was just showing it was already imported. For example, what you do is in your third party Java build path you don't have this JXL, right? Simply you add external jars and you put the file in here, select it. I have already selected, I am just showing it here. Now that you have already imported, it's already added, not imported. Adding is one thing, but you have to import it. So how did I import it here? Java.jxl, since I am using the workbook class, right? I have to import the workbook class like this. JXL is the topmost folder in which the sub package is workbook. So in order to use workbook for my get workbook method, I must import it. But in order to import it, you must have already added the particular jar file in here. So that's how it works. First thing, you have to add it here, then you have to import it here, then only you can use it here. So basically what I've done is the reverse way. I already wrote the line and it threw the error, then I went for the session, it automatically imported, but I already added it to my third party jar files here. So if you do not add third party jar file here, it would throw another error altogether. So basically that's the first thing you need to do. Download the jar file and add it over here. You understood, right? So don't worry about it. I am mentioning the sequential order here. First you download this, right? Then in your code, you don't have to do this. Automatically Eclipse will suggest you, but just in case.
And you were using that file, you just showed me,
yeah, this is
file,
yeah.
keyboard and all. So, then we are mentioning the path, and below that we are saying absolute path. In one of the codes, we were showing absolute path. But then we are giving full path, right? We are not giving any absolute path. When we are defining the path, we are giving the full path only. We are not saying any absolute path.
Okay, so
it was in some code, right?
Yeah, this is the actually absolute path. This path is absolute path because it mentions everything. Relative path is another. What is relative path? Relative path is, for example, I'll show you. You already set this path like this, Selenium, somewhere. That means you already have this as your workspace. Your workspace is this. Now you don't have to mention that one. So directly you can start with test data dot your data.xls. This is the relative path, right? That means for defining relative path you must have already added the previous path as a workspace or somewhere. So the system already knows, so okay, you have to come from here and go here. But if you mention the complete absolute path, that's like this, that means you are avoiding the confusion basically. That means you are telling the system, hey, this is the complete path, just directly go for it. So that's what you are saying. So this is the complete path. So I would directly go for the complete path, absolute path. That's what we have done here. Where we have done that? In the here, right? Yeah. So basically here we could have done the other way. So this is one way. System.setProperty, pass the driver, then this is the full path of the driver file. That's what it is. You can directly pass. Instead I am passing like this. So I am creating a file instance, and file instance take the full path of that file, and instead of passing this, I am passing the file instance here. File dot get absolute path. That will basically, now more or less it will take the entire path. So don't worry about this. get absolute path is a method. So if you want to use the get another method, let's see if there is any another method. Get canonical path, get absolute path, get canonical path. I don't know what the get canonical path is, so I don't go for it. If you want to just play around with it, you can do this. So just sys out it and see what's basically there are many methods. You don't want to use it. So only go for which you are comfortable. So since once you use it, right, get absolute path, you know exactly what is going to return. So next time you use it, next time again you use it, keep using the same thing. But when it comes to canonical path, if you are not sure what it is, you may know the definition, but exactly if you're not sure, don't go for it. But if you want to see what it actually does, you can just play around with, just sys out it, system.out.println, see what it is returning, so that you know next time you can use it, or whenever you need to know. So that is the thing. There is no get relative path. So maybe canonical path is relative path. I don't know definition of what it means by canonical. So I don't go for it. So simply use this. So without going to all these details, I just use the sake of using it. That's it. This is I'm comfortable with this line, because you don't require all this file, you don't need to create instance of file class, blah blah blah. So I'll directly pass this over here, pass the path here. This is most comfortable thing I can do. So stick to your comfortability and go for it, instead of going, if you just want to experiment with it, that's fine, so that you can know in future if some other automation tester use something like this, and then at least you can understand what's going on. So even you may not use it, but you should be able to understand it, right? So okay, so let's come back to where we are. I think we are here. So right now it's not showing any error. So far, let me know if you get any doubt immediately, so that I can resolve it, right? At least try to resolve it. So okay, one more time, I am trying to create a workbook class instance to get workbook. First of all, I have created the workbook here. This is called the workbook, right? The spreadsheet. First of all, I have to get it. Now that function, that method takes the full path of that where the file is. So just to get it. So this is the first and foremost thing to do. So I'll mention this. So you have imported this. Don't worry about this. If you don't want in the code, import it. But if you do not import, and when Excel throws error, just hover over the error and click on the one of the suggestions. Basically you have to choose one. It will show multiple suggestions. You have to choose appropriate suggestion. So click on the appropriate suggestion. So that means it will ask you to import. Just go for it. So manually you can import it like this. So then third one is so this is the example. First I will describe it. So then create instance of workbook to use the method get workbook. So that's what we are doing here. Alright. So next, sequentially, if you understand the flow, you can easily, even if you don't look at this, you can write it from the scratch. But I would not recommend. Even if you do it 10 times, you may not remember it. But so simply to just by if you next time if you want to use it in your another script, you can at least copy paste it and replace these values, so you know what's going on, right? Okay, so once you get the workbook, your workbook is downloaded, and it will you will be able to read it from the workbook. So next thing is, you go to workbook. Every workbook has a sheet, right? So your data might be in this sheet or this sheet or this sheet. So basically after getting a workbook you have to get the sheet. So that's what we are going to do right now. So after getting workbook, get the sheet. So there is a class called sheet again. So don't worry about how do you know. So only when you use it once you know exactly what to use. So there are thousands of classes, thousands of methods. So exactly when you know what do you want, then you find a way to achieve that. I mean acquire that. So basically I want to read from Excel. So how do you want? You have to create a workbook class, then sheet, then blah blah. So the flow goes on. So once you get yourself familiarized with this process, you will know next time how to deal with this. So simply create an instance of sheet class. Then this sheet takes sheet from this workbook. So basically we have already created a workbook instance. Now using this workbook instance, wbook, you simply get sheet. So get sheet string, get sheet by index, get sheet by name. So both are there, just like the drop down, right? Get value by index, get value by visible text, and blah blah blah. So the always starts with 0 if you are going for this one. Basically it's a overridden function, right? So this is taking integer argument, this is taking a string argument. Get sheet names also, it will simply return the get sheet name, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Okay, so let's go for get sheet integer, because this is more effective way. Because if you are not sure about the names, you can simply start with 0, 1, 2. So that way you don't have any you don't have scope for making a mistake. So get sheet starting with 0, so that means I am asking the WebDriver to go to this particular sheet and go get the whatever the contents it has. Okay, now so next, just hover over it, you might need to import sheet also. So that's the sheet is a package, part of JXL package again, it's a sub package. So simply it will import sheet also. You might ask why you are not importing jxl.star, which will import everything else, right? Did you get that question?
Yes.
Okay, so why we are not doing, instead of doing this for each sub package, why we are not importing just jxl.star like this? I already told you.
It may affect the performance. It will take more time. So based on use basis, we are putting things.
Exactly. So if you just put a jxl dot, how many are there? jxl dot workbook, jxl dot cell, blah blah blah. So almost there should be 50 to 100. Right here I can see, right? So that's, I don't need 100, I just need 3 or 4. So again, it's not recommended like this. So I need workbook, I need sheet, both of which are imported. So simply I'm going to write this down here. Then 4 is then to get read. Basically this is to read work. Read the, normally we called it as worksheet, right, in Windows terminology. Sheet from workbook. To read the sheet from workbook, okay, I'll mention import is already copied. And use this. Okay, so this import goes on top of everything. So to create I'll simply read this. To read the workbook, this is all we will do. Create instance of workbook to use a method get workbook. Okay, blah blah blah. Then you import. Basically, you already imported. That's not. You don't know what to import. So basically, only after writing this, you know. So I'll put it here. Code import the appropriate or the required packages. But if you do not import, when Excel throws error, not Excel, Eclipse throws error, just hover over there and just okay. So this is just like a heads up. Then third, you read the workbook, you do this, and then to read the sheet, you do this. Okay. Why these numbers are coming? Alright, so that's the next step. Then what you have to do? Guess. So you read the workbook, then you read the sheet, then okay, so that's rows and columns are okay, but you want to go by the cells. Basically, you read the row, read the row, then you have to again subdivide, bifurcate into like multiple cells. So directly there is a method called read cell. Exactly this read cell, this particular cell is the position of this particular cell is first column, second row. So you can just pass the index in the two-dimensional array, so that I can directly use this get cell. So I'll directly go for the cell. Okay, now let us use that, then we'll write it. Then get the cell. So how do you get the cell? Just use your common sense to use the cell. Workbook as sheet, so sheet takes workbook dot get sheet. So cell the sheet has cells. So how do you capture the cell from the sheet?
Sheet dot cell.
Right, sheet dot get cell. So get cell takes arguments. How it should take the arguments? Cell should take x coordinate and y coordinate, right? Yeah.
1, 1, 1.
Right, exactly. That means I comma j. So the syntax should be like I comma j. But if you are dealing with the multiple cells, then you go for the for loops. So we will go to that just in a moment. So let me go here. So get cell normally takes in the format of I comma j, but we will have to define what is I, what is j, and where it goes in the for loop. So for the time being, I will put it like this. It will throw the error, but that's okay. Okay, now it gets the cell, right? It gets the cell. That means it is able to read the cell. But if you want to actually capture the cell contents, then there is another method called get contents. So right now it is throwing error about I and j, so we'll deal this later. So this is how it works. So finally this get contents will have, if you are passing 0 like 1 comma 2, this particular line will hold user b, and the user b is nothing but a string. Then finally you have to create a string type of variable and store this value in that, then we can use it later. So all we have to do is capture these values first. Once we capture and store it in a two-dimensional array string variables, then we can use it. So first things, we have to capture them. So that's what we are doing right now. Just give me a second. I'll be back in for 3 minutes, Prachi. Okay, I'll call you back. So okay, so what we have done so far is, let me recapitulate. Okay, so this is actually not the first step, right? First zero step you can say. So first you create test data folder or something. Preferably you create it in your workspace. Then create Excel spreadsheet. Naming it with your page or page name or whatever you want to do, like our test case name. This again depends entirely on the framework. So after this you start these processes 1, 2, 3, 4. So once you get the sheet, then fifth is to read the cell contents from the sheet, right? So what do? For that you simply create sheet dot get cell, which takes column number first, then row number. So that's the difference here, not the row number comma column number. Normally we start with the row number. So in this case column number is 1 and row number is 2. So 1 comma 2, not the 2 comma 1. That's normally the convention, row number comma column number in other VB script or QTP. But here it is, this particular takes column number first. So just be mindful about that. So then what you do, this is the normal syntax. So for example, sheet dot get cell I comma j. Normally you have to incorporate in a for loop, right? So let me use the whole for loop so that you can understand. For example, this is how it goes. Loop the entire script or whatever, not the entire script, not even opening the browser you have to execute, but whatever entire script for running for data driving. So basically you have to figure out that, and so we will include this in a for loop. Integer I, less than. So what is the condition? Your sheet has certain rows. Basically this is where the rows come into picture. So this, even though you take the cell contents but you run the whole for loop on the rows. So there is a method called get rows. So if there are 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, you have to exclude the header. So basically you deal with 2 rows. So there is a method called sheet dot get rows that will give the rows number. And you increase the counter every time. But for get cell it takes I comma j, 2-dimensional array is required here. So what do you do is simply you don't need the 2-dimensional array, because if you do it like this, let's put it this way. So with 1-dimensional array also we can manage. I will show you how. Okay, so instead of passing I comma j, I will fix the row and just vary it on the column. So like this. So starting with 0, comma I dot get contents, something like this. Okay, we'll see it in Eclipse. So here you are fixing the row number, so that means first it will already take I is equal to 1, so I is equal to 0 is this, that will be excluded. So I is equal to 1, it will start from here, that means second row, so that is fixed. Then you are going to the 0th column, so you are starting from this column, and this is fixed, entire row is fixed, because for loop first value it will take I is equal to 1, that means row number 1, second row. So this, it will take this, it will take this, blah blah blah, it will go all the way till here, then that is the end of the row. Then it will get all these contents and put it in a one dimensional array, right? Then it comes back, this time it goes to I plus 1, I plus 1 is 1 plus 1 2, it goes to the second row. Now the second row is fixed, then columns will be varied, 0 comma 2, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 2, so that will go like this, 1 2 3 4 like this. So you don't actually need this, need the two-dimensional array if you adopt this, if you understand this particular technique. You understood, right?
No, because what you said is for get cell 0, the first thing is for column and the other is for row. So column is always going to remain 0, right? And only I is incremented. So we should increment column also, right? Because column we need to increment from 1 to something.
Okay, so right, I got it. Okay, so here what I'm thinking is, you put the number of row as a counter. This I is the number of row, right? Get sheet dot get rows will give it 3, so it will run till 3, I less than 3. So that is already taken care of, length of the rows, total number of rows. Okay, now first I will take row number 1, which is this, correct? So then that is fixed, I am fixing the row first, I am fixing this, so it will go to that row, and then get cell takes column number comma row number. So first column number is 0, row number is 1. Which one is that? This one, right? Okay, now column number is, okay, sorry, column number is fixed. Okay, 0 is fixed, right? Okay, so let me see. So maybe we have to take the other way around. So this time I am countering, I'm driving on the row. Hold on, row must be fixed, not the column. Okay. So it must be this, like this, I comma 0, is it? So let's see how it works. I is column number, so first it will take I is equal to 1. No. Column. I know, that is only when you want to use this two for loops, two-dimensional array. I don't want to use, because it's confusing. Okay, for example, you want to do drive like this. I will show you. For loop inside another for loop. So this time I'll use for integer j is equal to 0 ij. J is the row number. Row must start with 1. So let's use 1. J less than. So j is what? Row number. Hold on. I think it should be the other way around. So let's keep this j, because we are following rows later, column first, right? So this is, so for example, like this, it will be I comma j. Little bit confused, but if you just work it out like this, it will be easier. So I is the column number, j is the row number. Normally convention is row is the row number is taken as I and column number is j, in which case j comma I you have to specify. So if you think I is column number, okay, let's work it like this. So okay, you are fixing column I and row number is j. Then I want to take the first row, the second row, that is one row is fixed, all right. Okay, let me not even go to the two dimension here. Which one you are fixing? Row I is equal to confusing. Let me take this here. Okay, so let me put it here. No. Okay, at least it's okay. Okay, so here user B, I want to come here first and fix this row, which is a second coordinate. That means keep it constant 1 first, then take 0, 1, 2. So here it goes like this. Okay. 0 comma, yeah, earlier we are right, that was correct. 0 comma I. So basically I means here j, so don't worry about that ij thing. So let's use j, alright, because j always comes later, that's what convention is. So this is how it works. First column is fixed, column is 0, column number, row number. This is what is confusing me, column number, row number. I always thought of it as row number comma column number. Then you have to take I comma j. Sheet dot get rows, and so it will be driven over the rows. So obviously the row is j. Okay. Put j less than sheet dot get rows, j plus plus. Okay. Let's see how this works. First j is equal to 1. So row 1, row, that means second row 0, column is 0. Right. So 0 comma 1, 0 comma 2, it will move like this. 0 comma 1, 0 comma 1, 0 is a column this, 0 comma 1, this one, 0 comma 2, 0 is a column. It will move like this, vertically, not horizontally. I don't want to do that. Okay, why don't we directly go and do it in the Eclipse, so that way we can exactly know when we run it, right? So whole for loop goes outside, everything goes inside the for loop. Let me put it here. So where the for loop can start? Immediately after opening the web page, right? So where the web page is, So
maybe you said right. Maybe you're getting the food
which one?
for you. We'll use for you when we start getting the cells.
Alright, but you have to drive everything into the, so it will take the first row from here and put it in here, put it in the actual here, right? Then it will take the first row values over here. Then what we can do is, without even submitting, but if you go to submit, it will go to the next page. Then maybe we have to click on the register again. We will see that how. So then second time it will come here. Basically it will input the second row columns. That's the main idea. Let's see. Little confusing. So this is for sure. You have to at least run this for loop till here. Sheet dot gets allocated. It's already mentioned over here. That's a syntax. Okay, so here sheet dot get rows cannot be used because you are creating instance of sheet here. You should have created before, because it will look for the what is sheet. It doesn't recognize. So for that thing, we might have to move this up. We have to move everything up. In fact, so let's move it up here. But in order to use the sheet, you have to create a workbook. So this must be okay. See, now the errors are gone because it recognizes. Okay, so this is basically duplicate. You can comment it out, and this is also duplicate because it's already duplicate variable. Don't worry, we will reconciliate this later once everything is finalized. Okay, so it doesn't recognize I comma j because they are not defined yet, at least gri. So this is just for the syntax purposes, and what we need is this. Okay. So however j is this, what is the error here? Syntax error. Okay. Okay, fine till here. So what's so good? Okay, so we have to get worksheet is done. So only we have to deal with this part, right? So this we will see whether to move j or I. Put it here. Only when we run it we will know. So this sheet dot get cell 0 comma j. So first column it's fixing 0 first column and moving it over row over. Okay, so I am thinking it's reverse way. J comma 0 or I comma 0 if you are using I. So then what you do is, once this is done, okay, yeah, this is right. So basically we are trying to use these, right? Username and password, username, first name, last name, blah blah blah, these values. All right. First we will go for the username only, then we will do other things. So basically idea is to replace these values by these cell contents that will come. So let us put these as is. Just want to see if it works or not. So let me come to only username and password and do this. Then we will apply the same thing to other values. Okay, so send keys user A. So this will be replaced. So this is basically will be replaced by username. So what is the username? Now we are clear. Username is here and here, so that's why we can use this. So simply put your sheet dot get cell, and basically it will take the indexes over here. So first start with 0, and I want to drive over I, which is the row number. Then move it over here, dot it contents sheet dot get cell. Okay, there is an extra bracket, dot hold on, sheets and keys, sheet dot get cell. Okay, before doing this, we will just sys out and see. I think that's far less confusing. So once you enter, before submitting, I want to do this. Okay, so I'll just comment on submitting. Let me write comments for what is what. This is what enter username. So this is for enter password, right? And this is for entering enter password. So once we enter, let's first enter this and capture this get cell and sys out and see what if it is exactly retrieving, then we can use it. We can replace this hard coded values with the values from the Excel spreadsheet. So basically it will enter. Okay, for this we don't need, right? We just capture it from the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, now okay, got it. Come here. What I'll do is I'll store it in a string variable. Let's call it a, and simply sys out. Okay, so this is less confusing. Let's try this. Simply let me run. Okay, so that's okay. We'll cut this here or let it go. So all I want to see is whether that Excel value is printed or not, right? So user B, let's see. Yeah, so user B is printing, so at least it's working. Then user C. So one by one. So this is what I expected. User B, first it's capturing first name of the first row record and the first name from the second record, avoiding this. Okay, so at least it's working. Let us go and apply these values. You are following, right, what I'm doing? I'm just
Yeah.
am I talking to myself? Okay.
No.
Okay, so if you're not I'm just doing and explaining something. So if you're following, I am doing my own way. So if you're not following, you have to let me know immediately so that I can. So let's finish this. At least we finish this. Tomorrow we can go to another concept. So that's why I'm taking long time. So what we have done so far? Can you tell me so that I know exactly you're following?
So you have printed system outed that values of zero. You have kept the rows constant and column you have varied.
Right. So basically, I have captured these values using the getCell.getContext, get contents, and printed it to console directly. I haven't even used, so that I know exactly this method is working or not. So it's working as expected. It's printed. So right now we can go ahead and replace these values. That is the next step. So now I'll write it down. So once you use this, simply what you have to do is replace the hard-coded values in the script with the above values that are captured using this sheet.getCell I comma j dot get contents method. So this is roughly this is what we have been doing. So but you have to understand it in order to perform it. So all you have to do is replace the hard-coded values, then finally you wrap the entire code within a for loop, just for one for loop. So like we already saw, one for loop is working. Okay. So okay, now it's time to replace the values. Once we replace, we will run and see. So there is still a lot of things to be done here, but we will just complete this portion. So where is the sysout? Yeah, sysout. So this is just for the sake of understanding, right? So then you see if the Excel values being captured. Okay, so we cannot use this. Let me just comment it. So here first I'll come to first A. So this is the value that needs to be replaced, right? So I'll simply replace this by get cell sheet.getCell. You can do it first and store it in a variable, then you can pass it. That's another way. What's this? Let's see first this get cell. So what is the column number here? Column number we are fixing to 0 and row number we are varying, so that would be I. So come out dot get cell 0 comma I. Zero comma I. Have you used J? Okay, so let's use get contents. So that's the whole thing wrapped up in another bracket here. So simply this value will be replaced. Okay, that's the first 0 comma I. 0 comma I start from 1. 0 comma 1. Just let's check. 0 comma 1. So this is 0 comma 1. this is the one, don't go by this is the 0 1. So that's done. Then second one, password here. So I'll basically take this, pass it over here. Okay, so all you need to change is the indexes. What this index should be, second time you are taking the second column, right? Second column, this one. Once you enter first name, then you have to come here, not here. So basically you keep the row same, change the column. So second column is this one. So this will be 1 because the index starts from 0, so it should be 1 comma I. So let us check it again. 1 comma I should belong to this one. I is 1, j is 1, so 1 comma 1. So this is the first column, 0th column, first column. So 1, 0th row, first row, 1 comma 1. So exactly. Similarly, you just do this repeatably for all. So what I'll do is I'll copy this again. Just copy the whole thing. Just from Sentis, so you don't make a mistake. So what this should be? Oh, my mistake. That's the X path, right? So we are not using that. So this. So what is this? 0 comma I, 1 comma I, 2 comma I. You don't need to look at this one, right? 2 comma I. 2 is the column number. 0, 1, 2, 2 comma I. I starts from 1. So 2 comma I. 2 is the column name. Okay. I basically starts from 1. How it will work? Let me see. So 1 comma I is 1 comma 1. This is what we find. 0 comma I and 2 comma I. I is the, right, my mistake. I is the first row. Okay. So the 0th row, first row. Okay. Already. So this goes here. So simply increase the counter of the column. 3 and 4. 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 is the postal code starting from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, perfect. Country. Okay, country is little bit tricky here. It's a drop down, right? So you are selecting the drop down. So how do you do this here? Not the send keys, but you use this portion, right? So which one I need to replace here? This. Right? Which one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got right. This one. So simply we change. Okay, finally, username, password. Enter password 10. have done a little bit differently for this one, right? We created a web element, so that's fine. So this would be 11. Okay, so far so good. So I'm not submitting this because what I want to do is just enter all these values from the Excel sheet, and I want to see if it goes back and entering. The problem is we have to clear it every time, so it's not clearing. So let's just see roughly if it is working or not, so then we can modify it. Alright, so far any doubts, Prachi? No? Hello?
Yeah.
Any doubts here? No, right? Okay. Are you tired? I'm just running this and we will stop after this. Okay, the first see, okay, it's working. So that's what we wanted to see. Okay, so if we you want continue tomorrow, we can continue. So the concept wise we have learned data driving, so we will modify this script in a better fashion, so that it will take these values, register these values, and right away log in with these values, purchase ticket, blah blah blah, go all the way till end, and then come back to this page again, register for a new person, blah blah blah. So that's what we want to do. Or we can do another thing also, you register for multiple person at the same time, just registration, and you log in with these registered values later separately. So I think first way is the better one, so that way you can go see one end-to-end process at the same time with these values, Excel spreadsheet values. Okay, so replace the hard-coded values in the script. Okay, so I think grab the entire code within a for loop. So then run it. To see if the entire script is being driven with the data from Excel. Okay. So this concept wise it was a little difficult, but if once you understood it correctly, you can easily see. So what I want you to do is do the same, take the same example, demo AAT. I'll be sending this. Alright, I'll be sending the code also. I'll just send the code here. Code for all I have incorporated is the registration, this thing only. I'll just push this. Code. So just yesterday I sent you the whole folder, right? Did you import that into your Eclipse? Did it work? Okay. Okay, so you can import it, and only thing is extra class is registration. So you create extra registration class in demo AAT. Okay, since I have changed the names of these, I will import it, export it again, and send you the new one. So that you don't have to do this. All you have to do is just understand this code from this perspective. So only thing is you have to download this jar file, because when you export it, it won't include the jar file. The jar file is local to my machine, right? So do that. And tomorrow we will apply the same thing to, if you can do one thing, Prachi, do the same thing data driven for what is that site? mortgage calculator. Yeah, use different values, put the different income, blah blah blah, in the Excel spreadsheet, and just try to run 2 times, 2 iterations or 3 iterations. Same technique. You don't need to work on this example. I'll export it and send it to you. And once you import it into your project, you just download that jxl.jar. It will work fine. Then create another project called mortgage calculator and do the same same thing in your that example. So that will give you a good idea on data driving. So this data driving is very important. So we can spend more time also tomorrow. Maybe we will apply this data driven to the entire project in DemoUT, and if we have time we will go to another that hotels.com or orbits.com and do the same thing over there. So that will give us a pretty much good practice on different sites. And then once this is done, we will move to the different concepts. So morely this is data driven is very important. So that's why I'm stressing a lot on this particular concept. Okay. So okay then, I'll talk to you tomorrow, Prachi. I'll send you this notes shortly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.